At the intersection of towering mountains, ancient rivers, and primeval forests, China emerges not only as a cultural and historical powerhouse, but also as one of Earth's most astonishing cradles of biodiversity. Some of these birds can be found nowhere else on Earth, not simply because they are rare, but because they evolved in isolation, shaped by millennia of mountains, mist, and time itself. They are the living proof of nature's creativity when left undisturbed. In this journey, we'll explore 50 of the most beautiful and mysterious birds of China. Prepare to step into a world of color, rhythm, and movement, where treetop feathers shimmer like sapphires, where voices echo across ravines, and where each wing beat whispers a story older than history. This is Chinese nature, at its most wild, most hidden, and most breathtaking. You might think this bird is straight out of a fantasy movie, but the golden pheasant is very real and absolutely stunning. These birds live in the thick forests and mountain areas of central and western China, in places like Sichuan and Gansu. They really like hanging out in spots with lots of cover. Think pine woods, bamboo groves, and brushy hillsides, usually anywhere between 2,000 to 7,500 feet up. Even though they spend most of their time on the ground, don't be surprised if they suddenly burst into flight when startled. At night, they head up into the trees to roost safely away from predators. Now, if you ever get to see a male golden pheasant, you'll know instantly he's impossible to miss. He can grow up to 41 inches long, and most of that is his impressive tail. His feathers are a wild mix of gold, red, green, and blue, with a bright golden crest that looks like it belongs on a royal helmet. The females, on the other hand, are much more low-key, about 31 inches long, covered in mottled browns to help them stay hidden while nesting. During mating season, the guys put on a real show, fluffing out that golden crest and fanning their tails, hoping to impress the ladies. And yes, females definitely go for the flashiest dancers. When it comes to food, golden pheasants aren't picky. They eat a mix of seeds, berries, leaves, and shoots. And they'll also go for insects, worms, and even tiny reptiles. You'll usually see them scratching around in the leaf litter in the early morning or late afternoon, kicking up debris to find something tasty. They're pretty shy by nature, but when they're hungry, they don't mind stepping out into the open. Outside of mating season, they tend to roam solo or in small groups, quietly exploring the forest floor, one careful step at a time. If you ever wander into the misty mountains of Taiwan, you might be lucky enough to spot a swinhoe's pheasant, though you'll need sharp eyes and a lot of patience. These shy birds live in thick green forests up high in the hills, usually between 300 and 700 feet. They love spots with lots of undergrowth, where they can stay hidden while they poke around for food. Most of the time, they stick close to the forest floor, quietly walking along trails and through clearings. But at night, they'll fly up into the trees to sleep safely out of reach. The males are definitely the showstoppers. They're about 31 inches long and dressed in glossy, dark blue feathers with a bright white back, plus a red face that really stands out. Their long tails and shiny plumage make them hard to miss, if you're lucky enough to see one. During mating season, the males put on a quiet but impressive show. Tail fanned, soft calls, and slow steps to win over a mate. The females, on the other hand, are smaller, about 23 inches long, and much better at staying hidden, thanks to their brown camouflaged feathers. Once they pair up, the female builds a hidden nest on the forest floor, while the male stays nearby to guard the area. When it comes to food, Swin-Ho's pheasants aren't picky. They eat seeds, fruits, leaves, and bugs, basically whatever's in season. You'll often see them scratching through the leaves to dig up a snack. Even though they're usually shy, they'll sometimes step out into open spaces if they're hungry enough. Most of the year, they keep to themselves or hang out in small groups. But with their home forests shrinking, these birds are becoming harder to find, which makes protecting their habitat more important than ever. In the peaceful rice paddies and quiet river valleys of eastern and central China, there lives a bird that looks like it walked out of a painting, the crested ibis. Once found across much of East Asia, this graceful wader nearly disappeared in the wild. But thanks to focused conservation efforts, especially in Shanxi province, its numbers are slowly bouncing back. These birds do best in lowland wetlands where shallow waters and soft mud make it easy to find food. Today, the crested ibis isn't just a rare beauty. It's a living symbol of what can happen when we choose to protect nature. Both males and females look almost identical. And honestly, they're hard to forget once you've seen one. They stand about 30 inches tall and stretch their wings out to nearly 56 inches. Their feathers are soft white with a rosy pink blush, especially bright during breeding season. What really sets them apart is the red skin on their face and that long, curved black bill, perfect for digging into the mud. When it's time to pair up, they show their affection with gentle preening and calling in sync, then work together to build a big stick nest high in a tree. Both parents take turns keeping the eggs warm and feeding the chicks. True teamwork in action. Crested ibises are meat eaters, but they stick to small stuff: frogs, fish, insects, and anything else squirming around in the water. They use those long bills to poke and probe the muddy shallows, especially early in the morning or late in the day. Outside of nesting season, they like to hang out in small groups, and if you're lucky, you might spot them flying low over the water, wings wide, feathers glowing pink in the sun. But with wetlands shrinking fast, these birds still face big risks. Their story reminds us just how fragile and how important healthy ecosystems really are. High up in the mountains of western China and the eastern Tibetan Plateau, where the air is thin and the ground is often dusted with snow, lives one of the most breathtaking birds you'll ever see, the Tibetan monal. This high-altitude pheasant calls places like Sichuan, Tibet, and Qinghai home, usually at elevations between 9,800 and 16,400 feet. In summer, you'll find them in alpine meadows and forests, digging through soft ground for food. But once winter rolls in, they head downhill to escape the worst of the cold, trekking across frozen slopes in search of something to eat. Just surviving up here is tough, but the Tibetan monal makes it look effortless. The males of this species are absolute showstoppers. Measuring up to 28 inches long, they shimmer in metallic greens, blues, and fiery coppers with a long, iridescent crest that looks like it belongs to a mythical creature. During courtship, these dazzling males perform head bobs and wing spreads to impress the females. The females, on the other hand, are about 24 inches long and wear mottled brown feathers, less flashy, but perfect for blending in with rocky terrain while nesting. When breeding season hits, the males get fiercely protective of their turf, while the females focus on laying and raising their young. They use their strong beaks to dig up roots, tubers, seeds, and berries. And when the chicks arrive, they go after insects and even small lizards to provide a protein boost. Most of the time, they stick to the ground, scratching through alpine soil in the early morning and late afternoon. But when startled, don't be surprised if they burst into a short but powerful flight. Between their brilliant colors and rugged lifestyle, the Tibetan monal is truly one of the wild treasures of China's high mountains. In the dim green hush of China's montane forests, a tiny voice whistles from the shadows. The spotted wren babbler, Elycura formosa, one of the smallest and most elusive babblers, lives out its quiet life cloaked in secrecy. Native to the subtropical and montane forests of Yunnan, Sichuan, and Guangxi, it slips through ravines and undergrowth like a whisper through moss and mist. This miniature songbird favors elevations between 2,000 and 8,200 feet, where dense tangles of vegetation and moist, shadowy ravines offer refuge from predators. It thrives on the forest floor, darting between rotting logs and damp leaf litter, rarely venturing into the open. Its elusive behavior makes it more often heard than seen, its clear, high-pitched whistles cutting through the silence of ancient trees. Barely 4 inches long, the spotted wren babbler is a master of camouflage. Its earthy brown plumage is speckled with fine white spots, mimicking the play of dappled light on the forest floor. Both males and females share this subtle palette, blending so completely with their surroundings that even seasoned birders can overlook them. But it's the song, not the feathers, that sets this bird apart. Its piercing whistles are complex and rhythmic, sometimes mistaken for an insect or frog, echoing deep within the foliage. Foraging close to the ground, it probes bark, moss, and decaying wood for insects, spiders, and larvae. Its movements are quick, its gaze alert, as it flits from cover to cover. When nesting, pairs work in silence to construct cup-shaped nests tucked into crevices or thick vegetation, completely hidden from view. Here, they raise their young in shadow and seclusion. Like a forest spirit with feathers, the spotted wren babbler lives unseen, its song the only sign of its ghostly presence. Tucked away in the misty forests of southwestern China lives one of the most spectacular birds you've probably never seen in the wild, the Lady Amherst's pheasant. Native to provinces like Yunnan, Sichuan, and parts of Tibet, these birds favor thick bamboo thickets and quiet mountain slopes, anywhere between 4,900 and 10,000 feet up. They love dense, shadowy undergrowth, where they can move unseen, foraging on the forest floor by day and roosting in trees by night. Despite their dramatic looks, They're surprisingly shy and elusive, often vanishing into the brush before you can even catch a glimpse. Now, when it comes to appearance, the difference between the males and females is like night and day. Males can grow up to 51 inches long, most of that coming from their incredible tail feathers, and they look like they walked straight out of a fantasy novel. Picture a shimmering green body, a snow-white crest, fiery red and yellow highlights on the back, and a long tail covered in detailed black and white patterns. Females, meanwhile, are much smaller, around 26 inches long, and wear soft, brown, mottled feathers that help them stay hidden, especially when nesting. Come breeding season, the male puts on a show, fanning out that ornate tail and performing a slow dance-like strut to win over the ladies. As for food, they're not picky. Lady Amherst's pheasants eat a bit of everything: seeds, berries, leaves, shoots, insects, even small reptiles when they can find them. They use their strong legs to scratch through leaf litter, especially in the early morning or late afternoon. While usually solitary outside the mating season, these birds quietly help their ecosystem by spreading seeds and keeping insect populations in check. You might not spot one easily, but if you do, it's a moment you won't forget. Clinging to sheer cliffs and dancing across vertical stone, the wall creeper is one of China's most mesmerizing mountain birds. Found across western and central China, this species thrives in rugged gorges and high-altitude rock faces from 3,300 to over 11,000 feet above sea level. Where most birds would struggle, the wall creeper makes its home, nesting in cracks and foraging on near vertical surfaces. In winter, some descend to lower altitudes or even explore rocky buildings in towns, but their heart belongs to the mountains. Though small, just over 6 inches long with a wingspan of 10 inches, wall creepers are built for cliff life. At rest, they appear soft gray and almost ghost-like against the stone. But when they take flight, they reveal something astonishing: vivid crimson and black wings that flash like stained glass against the cliffs. Males use these brilliant wings in spectacular courtship flights, swirling through the air in looping displays that are more visual poetry than song. Unlike many birds, wall creepers rely less on calls and more on movement. Their wings speak volumes. With a thin, curved beak, the wall creeper extracts spiders, beetles, and caterpillars from the tiniest rock crevices. It climbs like a mountaineer, nimble, silent, precise, fluttering from ledge to ledge in a butterfly-like motion. In colder months, when insects are scarce, it turns to seeds and berries to survive. This bird isn't just a master of cliffs. It's a marvel of adaptation, a splash of red on gray stone, vanishing and reappearing with each beat of its wings. In the silent heights of China's mountains, The wall creeper is a living whisper of wildness. Gliding like a shadow over crystal-clear rivers, the Chinese merganser is one of the most elegant and elusive ducks in East Asia. Its scientific name, Mergus squamatus, hints at its serrated, scale-like bill, perfectly evolved for gripping slippery fish. Endemic to China's fast-flowing mountain rivers and forest-fringed lakes, it prefers cold, unpolluted waters in central and eastern regions. During winter, it migrates southward, settling in quieter estuaries and gentle rivers that remain ice-free and rich in aquatic life. Males reach about 24 inches in length, with bold white sides, a dark green-black shaggy crest, and intricate black markings across the back. Females, slightly smaller at 22 inches, trade flash for subtlety, wearing a rusty cinnamon head and soft gray body, perfect camouflage when nesting. Both sexes are slender and graceful, with sharp red bills built for precision. They rarely vocalize, choosing instead the language of motion and silence as they slip along riverbanks or disappear beneath the surface. Their most unique trait lies in where they raise their young, not on the water, but high above it. Unlike most ducks, Chinese mergansers nest in hollow tree cavities, sometimes over 30 feet above the ground. When the ducklings hatch, they leap fearlessly into the air and tumble down to the forest floor before following their mother to the river. An astonishing act of natural bravery. Specialized fish eaters, they dive deep and swim fast, using strong webbed feet to chase minnows and aquatic prey. Their long, narrow bills, lined with saw-like edges, help them snatch and hold on to wriggling fish. But as clean rivers become rare, so too does this species. The Chinese merganser is more than just beautiful. It's a living barometer of river health, a whisper of wild waters that still run clear. Winding through China's ancient forests like a living ribbon of gold, the Reeves's pheasant, Cermaticus reevesi, is a breathtaking blend of grandeur and power. Named after British naturalist John Reeves, this species is native to the temperate woodlands of central and eastern China. From lowland thickets to mountainous slopes between 1,600 and 7,200 feet, it roams in search of shelter, food, and the perfect vantage point to display its magnificence. With total body lengths reaching an astonishing 92 inches, the male Reeves's pheasant is crowned with one of the longest tail feathers in the bird world, up to 7.8 feet in length. His golden body is adorned with bold black and white patterns, and his vivid yellow face glows like a flame amid the underbrush. In contrast, the smaller female blends into her surroundings with soft brown plumage, a natural armor while she tends to her nest on the forest floor. What truly sets this pheasant apart is its dazzling courtship. In the breeding season, the male fans his colossal tail in wide arcs, circles his territory, and issues sharp calls to warn off rivals. His tail isn't just for show, it's a weapon of beauty and status, central to his quest for a mate. As ground foragers, Reeves's pheasants dine on seeds, berries, shoots, and insects. They use their strong legs to rake through fallen leaves, uncovering hidden treasures in the forest litter. Though powerful in flight, they prefer to run, swift, low, and alert. Yet even this majestic creature faces threats. Habitat loss and hunting have shrunk its wild numbers, making conservation more urgent than ever. Still, the Reeves's pheasant remains a symbol of regal wildness, its golden tail trailing like a comet through the green Chinese woods. Shimmering through the misty forests of China like a ghost in silver and shadow. The silver pheasant, Lophura nycthemera, is a symbol of elegance hidden beneath the canopy. Native to the lush evergreen and mixed forests of southern and southeastern China, this bird thrives at elevations between 300 and 800 feet. Especially along shaded mountain slopes draped in bamboo and thick undergrowth. Males and females differ dramatically in both size and style. The male, measuring up to 47 inches, including his flowing tail, wears a stunning white cloak patterned with delicate black vermiculation, contrasted by an inky blue underbody and a vivid red patch around the eyes. The female, much smaller at around 22 to 28 inches, is clad in warm, mottled browns, perfect camouflage for nesting among the leaf litter. When the forest stirs with spring, the male becomes a dancer. He clears a patch of earth and begins his ritual, fanning his broad tail, flicking his wings, and letting out a series of soft, rising calls. These displays, elegant and deliberate, are both a show of strength and an invitation to bond. On most days, silver pheasants remain close to the ground, foraging for seeds, berries, shoots, and the occasional insect. They move silently through the foliage, their cautious steps rarely breaking the stillness. At night, they take to low branches to roost, hidden from predators beneath the leaves. Though striking in appearance, the silver pheasant is a bird of quiet dignity, graceful, reserved, and deeply attuned to the rhythms of the forest. In the right light, its feathers catch the morning sun like a whisper of snow gliding through a sea of green. Like a porcelain ghost sweeping through the wetlands, the black-faced spoonbill, Platalea minor, is a rare wading bird known for its elegance and unmistakable silhouette. Native to eastern and southern China, it inhabits tidal mudflats, coastal lagoons, estuaries, and shallow marshes. Quiet places where water moves slowly and life teems just below the surface. This species breeds on remote rocky islands off the coast of northern China and the Korean peninsula. As winter draws near, it migrates southward to warmer wetland havens across southern China, Hong Kong, and Southeast Asia. Its journey mirrors a delicate balance between survival and habitat. one increasingly threatened by development and pollution, making the spoonbill a sentinel of vanishing ecosystems. Measuring 28 to 32 inches long with a wingspan of about 47 inches, the black-faced spoonbill stands tall and graceful. It wears pure white plumage, accented by jet-black legs and a smooth black face. Its namesake feature, the spoon-shaped bill, is not just for show. During the breeding season, a soft yellow crest emerges on the back of its head, lending a regal touch to its refined appearance. Its bill is a marvel of adaptation. Instead of hunting by sight, the spoonbill sweeps it in wide arcs through the shallows, detecting prey by touch. Small fish, shrimp, and aquatic invertebrates become easy targets, especially during dawn and dusk when feeding is most active. These birds are colonial nesters, building twig nests in clusters on isolated islands, far from mainland predators. Even outside of breeding, they remain social, often seen foraging side by side in serene flocks. Delicate yet resilient, the black-faced spoonbill is a living symbol of what remains and what's still worth protecting in Asia's fragile wetlands. Gliding like a streak of color through the treetops, the red-billed blue magpie, Uricissa erythrorhyncha, brings a painter's palette to life. Cobalt wings, snow-white underparts, a crimson beak, and a long, trailing tail like a brushstroke in the sky. This bird is one of China's most enchanting corvids, blending beauty, intelligence, and adaptability in a single form. It inhabits a broad swath of China, from the lowland forests of the south to the Himalayan foothills and temperate woodlands of the interior. Whether in dense forests, open groves, or even city parks, it thrives where tall trees meet open space, nesting high above while foraging freely below. These birds are comfortable at elevations from around 600 to 7,500 feet, showing an impressive resilience across landscapes. Both males and females reach about 25-27 inches in length, most of which is taken up by their sweeping tail. Their bodies are cloaked in deep blue and black, with a vivid red bill and expressive eyes that reflect their quick wit. Agile and athletic, they leap through branches with ease, using their tail like a rudder in midair. During breeding season, they form monogamous pairs and construct large, well-camouflaged nests in tall trees. Both parents take part in raising their chicks, offering food and gentle calls to guide the young. As omnivores, they feast on fruits, seeds, insects, small reptiles, and sometimes bird eggs. In every flutter and call, the red-billed blue magpie blends wild grace with urban adaptability, a true feathered gem of China's forests and gardens. In the misty highlands of western and northwestern China, the blue-eared pheasant, Crossoptilon auritum, strides across snowy slopes like a shadow of the clouds, blue-gray, ethereal, and serene. Its name comes from the soft white ear tufts fanning out from the sides of its head, giving it a dignified, almost mythical appearance. These hardy birds are built for altitude. They dwell in coniferous forests, alpine meadows, and rocky hillsides at elevations between 6,500 and 14,800 feet. In summer, they forage openly in grassy clearings. In winter, they descend slightly, seeking shelter and food in lower woodlands where snowfall is gentler. Males can reach lengths of 35 to 39 inches, with females just a few inches shorter. Both sexes are dressed in the same soft, dusky blue plumage, accented by crimson facial skin and long trailing tails. Their appearance is subtle, yet stunning, especially when males enter breeding season and transform into dancers of the highlands. They fan their tails, thump their wings, and release booming calls that roll across the valleys. Their diet reflects the rugged terrain: roots, seeds, berries, shoots, and mountain herbs during spring and summer. Insects and worms add vital protein during the nesting season. When snow carpets the landscape, they dig through frozen earth and icy layers with strong beaks and legs, uncovering hidden morsels in a world gone white. The blue-eared pheasant is not only a survivor, but a symbol of grace under pressure. Elusive and elegant, it thrives where few others do, painting the cold mountain silence with its soft steps and resonant calls. In China's roof of the world forests, it remains a quiet monarch of the alpine wilderness. In the mist-veiled forests of southeastern China, the Elliott's pheasant, Cermaticus ellioti, moves like a secret. Named after American naturalist Daniel Girard Elliott, this elusive bird is a jewel of the undergrowth, rare, regal, and rarely seen. Its realm spans the dense subtropical woodlands of Fujian, Jiangxi, Hunan, and Zhejiang, where shadow and silence dominate the forest floor. Sheltered by evergreen and mixed forests between 650 and 5,000 feet in elevation, this shy pheasant avoids open spaces, relying on thick foliage to remain unseen. Its scattered population reflects the growing impact of habitat fragmentation, each remaining individual a living ember in a flickering fire. Male Elliott's pheasants stretch up to 31 inches long, cloaked in chestnut-brown feathers and marked by dazzling white wing patches and a striped tapering tail. Their bold red facial skin blazes against the forest gloom, giving them a noble, unmistakable look. Females are smaller and more discreet, just 21 inches, with earth-toned plumage that blends seamlessly into the leaf-strewn ground. When the breeding season arrives, males perform quiet, understated courtship displays. There are no flamboyant dances, just soft coos, subtle postures, and the slow shimmer of feathers in filtered light. It's a performance designed not to dazzle, but to connect. They forage low to the ground, feeding on seeds, shoots, berries, and leaves, while supplementing their diet with insects and worms. Using strong legs and curved beaks, they sift through leaf litter with quiet purpose. Though rarely seen, the Elliott's pheasant is often heard, its low, rhythmic call pulsing like a heartbeat through the underbrush. In the fading green light of China's southern forests, it lives not as a spectacle, but as a whisper of wildness still holding on. Shrouded in mist and snow, the blood pheasant, Ithagenus cruentus, haunts the highlands of southwestern China like a living ember among stone and ice. Named for the crimson streaks that slash across its plumage, this resilient bird thrives where few others dare, deep in the alpine forests of Tibet, Sichuan, and Yunnan. Found between 6,500 and 1,800 feet in elevation, the blood pheasant makes its home among rhododendron groves, bamboo thickets, and coniferous woods. It prefers dense cover, where the forest undergrowth offers both concealment and sustenance. When the snow deepens and temperatures drop, these hardy birds descend to lower slopes, always staying within reach of food and shelter. Males grow up to 17 inches long, their feathers a striking mix of gray-green and splashes of vivid red across the chest, face, and tail, markings that inspired their evocative name. Females are smaller, around 14 inches, and wear subtle brown-gray tones, offering perfect camouflage while nesting on the forest floor. Come spring, the male's vibrant colors take on new meaning. Courtship is quiet. No grand display, just soft calls and a slow, deliberate reveal of his crimson streaks to win a mate's favor. Their diet is as rugged as their range. Blood pheasants forage for moss, seeds, shoots, and berries, using their claws and beaks to dig through leaf litter or snow. Protein comes from insects, worms, and sometimes even amphibians, especially vital during the nesting season. Though they walk the forest floor in silence, danger sends them aloft in short, explosive flights, often gliding steeply downhill to vanish into the shadows. In the white silence of China's high mountains, the blood pheasant moves like a flicker of fire, a symbol of life enduring through ice and stone. These birds are more than beautiful, they're ancient, resilient, and fleeting. For millions of years, they've evolved with China's forests, rivers, and skies. But their future is not guaranteed. As habitats vanish, so too might their songs. That's why awareness matters. When we see, we understand. When we understand, we protect. If you felt even a moment of wonder, don't let it end here. Subscribe to the channel, share this journey, and leave a comment. Which bird spoke to your heart?
Ganyan.